You don't struggle to choose because you don't know what you want. You struggle because every choice feels like losing something. You open 10 tabs, compare options for hours, delay replying, delay deciding, delay moving. And strangely, the longer you wait, the heavier the decision feels, as if time itself is watching you hesitate. But this isn't confusion. It's something much quieter and much more psychological. From the outside, it looks small. Choosing a career path, committing to a relationship, picking one idea to work on, even deciding what to do this weekend. But inside, it never feels small, because every decision carries an invisible sentence. If I choose this, I eliminate every other version of my life. So you stay in the middle, not because it's comfortable, but because it keeps possibilities alive. You tell yourself you're keeping options open, yet mentally, you feel stuck. You research more, plan more, imagine more, but rarely move. Psychology calls this decision paralysis, but that label is incomplete. What's actually happening is an identity conflict. You are not choosing between options. You are choosing between versions of yourself, and your brain treats that like a threat. Here's the important part. You are not broken. This pattern didn't come from laziness or lack of discipline. It came from adaptation. Your brain learned that keeping doors open meant staying safe. Safe from regret. Safe from judgment. Safe from discovering you chose wrong. So instead of making decisions, your mind built a strategy. Delay commitment, avoid emotional loss. It's not failure. It's protection. But protection, when left unchecked, becomes a cage. And the cage doesn't look like fear. It looks like endless consideration. To understand this, we need to look at how the brain processes choice. Your brain is not designed to maximize happiness. It's designed to minimize loss. This is rooted in loss aversion, a principle from behavioral psychology showing that the brain reacts more strongly to losing something than gaining something of equal value. Choosing one path feels like losing all the others, even if those other paths were never real. Now add another layer, the brain's prediction system. Neuroscience shows that your mind constantly simulates possible futures. When you face a big decision, your brain doesn't imagine one outcome. It imagines dozens. Each one becomes a tiny emotional reality. So when you decide, your brain interprets it like shutting down entire imagined lives. That's why commitment can feel like grief. Not dramatic grief, but a subtle closing, a narrowing, like a camera lens tightening focus. Here's a simple mental model. Your brain is like a museum curator. It wants to keep every possible exhibit, every identity, every future version of you. Making a decision means removing exhibits permanently, and the curator resists. Not because the exhibits are better, but because letting go feels irreversible. So you don't avoid decisions. You avoid psychological closure. This isn't solved by just deciding. You need to work with how the brain functions, not against it. Here are 4 principles grounded in psychology. Step 1. Shift from choosing a life to running an experiment. What to do? Frame decisions as temporary experiments, not permanent identities. Why it works? Research on cognitive flexibility shows the brain tolerates uncertainty better when outcomes feel adjustable. Experiments reduce perceived loss because nothing feels final. Example, instead of, I must pick the right career, tell yourself, I'm running a 6-month test. Your brain relaxes because the museum isn't closing exhibits. It's rotating them. Step 2. Limit imagination before action. What to do? Set a boundary on how long you allow yourself to think before acting. Why it works? The brain's default mode network, responsible for imagining futures, amplifies anxiety the longer it runs unchecked. Action interrupts simulation loops. Example, give yourself 48 hours to consider, then take one concrete step. Send the email. Apply. Start. You're not deciding everything. You're interrupting over-prediction. Step 3. Practice deliberate closure in small things. What to do? Intentionally make minor, irreversible choices daily. Why it works? Exposure therapy principles show the brain can learn that closure is not dangerous when experienced gradually. You train your nervous system to tolerate finality. Example, delete unused apps. Finish a book without switching. Choose one plan and don't revisit alternatives. Small endings build tolerance for bigger ones. Step 4. Redefine identity as direction, not definition. What to do? Describe yourself by movement, not labels. Why it works? Personality theory shows identity becomes rigid when tied to fixed definitions, but remains adaptive when tied to values and behaviors. A direction doesn't eliminate possibilities. A definition does. Example, instead of saying, "I must become this type of person," say, "I'm moving toward work that feels meaningful." Direction allows evolution. Your brain no longer fears being trapped. So here's the shift. You are not standing in front of doors. You are standing inside a hallway your brain built to avoid endings. The goal isn't to pick the perfect door. It's to become someone who can close one, without believing life just shrank. Because psychologically, it didn't. Attention narrowed. That's all. And attention is something you can retrain. Decisions don't erase possibilities. They convert imagination into experience. There is a strange freedom in accepting that every path excludes others. Not because loss disappears, but because meaning only appears when something is chosen. An unlived life feels safe, but it also remains abstract. And the brain, despite all its fear of closure, is wired to feel most alive inside what is real. So maybe the question is no longer, what if I choose wrong? Maybe it becomes, what part of life am I ready to actually enter? You were never indecisive. You were protecting yourself from the feeling of finality. Now you can learn that an ending is not a collapse. It's the moment something finally begins.